Yesterday, my son walked through the front door looking like the weight of the world was on his shoulders. Usually, he's full of energy, excited to share something new, cracking jokes, talking about his day. But this time, he just dropped his backpack, muttered a weak hey, and went straight to his room. That wasn't like him. I gave him some space before knocking on his door. "Everything okay?" At first, he shrugged. "It's nothing," he mumbled, but I could see the frustration in his face. I sat on the edge of his bed. "Come on, kiddo, talk to me." He hesitated, then finally let out a deep sigh. In history class today, we were talking about conflicts and their causes. The teacher asked a question, and I gave an answer, not just what was in the textbook, but something I read on my own. I thought it added a different perspective. I nodded, encouraging him to continue, but he just clenched his fists, clearly upset. The teacher cut me off. He smirked and said, "No need to pretend you know more than the experts." Then he laughed and added, "If you're so smart, why don't you come up here and teach the class?" The entire room erupted in laughter. My son stood there, face burning, feeling like an idiot. "And what did you do?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "I just sat down," he admitted, his voice small. "I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to make it worse." I felt something in my chest tighten. My son has always been the curious type, the kid who asks why and doesn't settle for easy answers. He loves learning. And now, a teacher, the very person who should be encouraging that, had humiliated him for daring to think differently. "Did anyone say anything after?" I asked. "One of my friends told me later that he thought I made a good point," he said with a weak shrug. "But it doesn't matter. The whole class already laughed. The teacher already made me look stupid." I clenched my jaw. This was the same teacher who claimed to value critical thinking? The one who supposedly pushed students to challenge ideas? So now I'm stuck. Do I go to the school and risk making my son an even bigger target? Do I tell him to let it go, teaching him that sometimes authority just gets to do whatever it wants? Or do I remind him that no one has the right to make him feel small for being curious? Because if I let this slide, what lesson am I really teaching him about standing up for himself?